Hello friends, welcome to a new happy learning video. Today we're going to learn about the Earth's atmosphere. The layer of gas surrounding the Earth is called the atmosphere, and it is an essential element for life on Earth to exist. It makes all living things be able to breathe. It protects us from rays coming from the sun and space. And it also prevents large changes in temperature during day and night. The atmosphere isn't homogeneous. Instead, it changes its composition according to its height. It becomes less and less dense with less and less air. Because of those differences, we divide the atmosphere in 5 layers called the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. We're going to know more about each one of them. The troposphere is the interior layer, the closest one to the Earth's surface. It reaches 12 kilometers in height, and within it is where the phenomenon we call the weather happens, the climate. The stratosphere reaches an average height of 50 kilometers, although in some points it reaches 70. Inside the stratosphere, we can find the ozone layer, which is essential for life because it filters ultraviolet light coming from the sun. If it didn't exist, these rays would end life on our planet. The mesosphere is situated between 50 and 80 kilometers over the Earth's surface. It's the coldest layer in the atmosphere. It can reach less than 90 degrees below zero. It's so cold! The thermosphere, also called ionosphere, reaches 400 kilometers. Within it, space shuttles travel around the Earth. And it's also where the mysterious northern lights take place. They're beautiful, aren't they? The exosphere is the last layer in the atmosphere and is situated between 400 and 2,000 kilometers. After this, there are no more gases, only the emptiness of space. Now we know all about the atmosphere and its layers, but we can't say goodbye without talking about pollution. Human activity releases many gases that contaminate our atmosphere. Smoke from factories, cars, lots of the daily activities we do are creating changes in the atmosphere's composition. All this produces climate change. Floods, acid rain that terminates woodlands. A polluted atmosphere puts the planet's and all living things' health in danger. We need to take the necessary measures so we pollute as little as possible and take care of our planet and the atmosphere so we can carry on enjoying all of nature's wonders. Goodbye friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning TV.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends! Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today we're going to climb very, very high to learn about what clouds are and how they are formed. If we look at the sky, we can almost always see them, higher or lower, bigger or smaller, with a multitude of ways that allow us to play and imagine that they could be animals or even toys. But what really are clouds? The clouds are made up of tiny drops of water, snowflakes, or small ice crystals. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. As the sun heats up the Earth's surface, it causes large amounts of water to evaporate. The humid and hot air, also called steam, rises into the atmosphere, and little by little it gets cold. Due to this cooling, the vapor condenses into microscopic droplets of water that can have the shape of tiny snowflakes or crystals of ice, and those droplets are precisely what make up clouds. Clouds are very different from one another, either because of their shape, color, size, or altitude. The cirrus clouds are white, light, and thin, and seem to be scattered across the sky. They are those that are at a higher altitude, exceed 7,500 meters in height, and are formed by tiny ice crystals. The cumulus clouds are large clouds that look like they are swollen. They may look like they are made of cotton. They are halfway up, and in general, they are a sign of good weather, although in some occasions they can discharge intense rains. The strata are very long, horizontal, and grey clouds. They are the lowest clouds, and if they are very, very, very low, do you know what they're called? Correct, they are called fog. All clouds are very important for life on the planet, because they are a fundamental part of the water cycle. They allow the essential fall of rain or snow and regulate the temperature on Earth. I love watching the sky and seeing the clouds, but there is a very, very special one that I like more than the rest. Do you know what it is? Well, of course, our beloved and nice cloud. Goodbye, friends. And do not forget to subscribe to Happy Learning TV.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends! Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today we're going to dive deep underwater with the fish and the dolphins. We're going to see how penguins walk on ice, and how clouds and birds soar through the sky. Today, we're going to learn about the hydrosphere, the wettest layer of planet Earth. The hydrosphere is the total of all the water on our planet, and there's a whole lot of it, because approximately 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. We don't call the Earth the blue planet for no reason. Check it out from the universe. Isn't it beautiful? Water is everywhere and can be found in 3 states. In a liquid state, like in the seas, lakes, rivers, and underground rivers. In a solid state, in the form of snow or ice, like at the peaks of these mountains, and in a gaseous state, like in the clouds, which soar all over the world and which, when highly concentrated, give us the wonderful rain that waters and gives life to all of nature. All of this water forms the hydrosphere, a super important layer of the Earth. Quick fact, did you know that all living beings are made up of water? Yes, it's incredible! 60% of our body is made up of water. More than half our body is water. We could almost say that we are also part of the hydrosphere. But do you know how water came to Earth? It all started 4 billion years ago, when our planet was a huge super hot ball, and a bunch of comets and asteroids loaded with ice crashed into it. As it was very hot, the ice from these comets and asteroids evaporated quickly, forming the first clouds. and these clouds travelled all over the planet, dropping water in the form of rain. And so, little by little, the Earth cooled down and was filled with water. Part of this water accumulated in different parts of the Earth and dissolved the mineral salts of the surface, forming the primitive seas. And it was there, in those seas, where life, wonderful life, arose. We all know that there is fresh and salty water, but did you know that 97% of the hydrosphere is composed of salt water? Yes, only 3% of the water that exists can be drunk. Only 3% of all water accounts for fresh water. There is something very important and super interesting that you should know. The water on our planet is always the same. The water we drink or bathe in is the same water brought by those comets and asteroids. It is the same water that the dinosaurs drank. Isn't that just incredible? Water changes state and is always travelling in the super famous and endless journey that we call the water cycle. But remember, the amount of water never, ever changes. And what does this mean then? Well, it means that we have to take care of it. Because of pollution, the water of the seas and rivers is getting dirtier and dirtier. And many living beings are dying because of it. That is why, from Happy Learning, that we insist so much on the need to take care of water. Without it, life would be impossible. If we learn to appreciate it and take care of it, we will always be able to enjoy it, and our hydrosphere and all the living beings in the world will be very grateful. Goodbye, friends. See you in the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello, friends. Welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we're going on a fascinating journey to the very center of the Earth. Today, we're going to learn about the geosphere. The geosphere is the most solid part of our planet. Yes, it includes the Earth's surface and everything that lies beneath it to the very center of the Earth. It is extremely important because it is here where life develops. A part of the geosphere is under the oceans, forming the wonderful seabed. And the other part rises to the surface, forming the continents and islands. But there is much more to the geosphere that meets the eye, and in the depths of our planet, many interesting things take place. Did you know that if we were to drill a hole to the very center of the Earth, we would have to dig more than 6,000 kilometers deep? It's incredible. It would be immense. The geosphere is made up of 3 concentric layers called the crust, the mantle, and the core. Let's get to know them. The crust is the most shallow and thinnest layer of the geosphere. It is like the skin of our planet. Many things live on it. Even animals that live underground, like these earthworms. Remember that the sea floor is also part of the crust. There is a very special layer called the lithosphere. which contains the crust and the upper mantle. Lithosphere means stone sphere. As well as being very hard and rigid, the lithosphere is also fractured, as if it were broken into pieces. The famous tectonic plates are part of the lithosphere. By the way, did you know that these plates move? Yes. They float on a semi-liquid surface and sometimes collide with each other or collapse. When this happens, it causes earthquakes, tsunamis, and even impressive mountains like these can appear. But of course, mountains don't form overnight. This happens very slowly and over thousands of years. The mantle is the middle layer of the geosphere and is located below the crust. It is the thickest layer, estimated to be about 3,000 kilometers long. Temperatures in the mantle are so high that the rocks and materials that form it are semi-molten like cheese. Can you imagine how hot it is? When the molten rocks from the mantle seep between the tectonic plates and come to the surface of the Earth, volcanoes erupt. That incandescent liquid you can see coming out the mouth of this volcano is molten rock, magma. Isn't it amazing to see what's going on in the layers of the Earth? Just wait and you'll see. The innermost layer of the Earth is the core. It is made of iron and other metals like nickel and silicon. And it is very, very hot, with a temperature of 6,000 degrees Celsius. It's more or less the same temperature of the sun. Could you imagine anything like it? A small sun inside the Earth. I can't believe it. It's amazing.
Wow.
As you can see, underneath our feet, in the geosphere, super interesting things are happening. It's so cool to learn new things. Goodbye, friends. See you in the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Hello friends and welcome to another new Happy Learning video. Today we will learn all about the water cycle. Earth, which is the planet we live on, is known as the blue planet because as much as 3/4 of the planet's surface is water. And water is so very important because without it there would be no life. Without it, these sweet little otters wouldn't exist. Or these playful bears. Nor this conceited bird. Or even us, the human beings. That is why we must look after it, conserve our water well, and most of all, we must maintain our rivers and oceans clean. Did you know water never stands still, but is in always constant movement? This water movement is what we call water cycle. Now, let's learn more about it. When the sun warms the water on the Earth's surface, it evaporates, converting itself into water vapor, and it begins its incredible journey, flying into the sky up towards the atmosphere. This first stage of its journey is known as evaporation. When the water converts in vapor, it rises towards the atmosphere, then cools down, transforming itself into cloud. This second stage of its journey is called condensation. Once the water has condensated and turned into a cloud, it continues its amazing journey by being blown by the wind, traveling from one place to another. Clouds are actually tiny little drops of water suspended in the air. But when the clouds grow, they collect more and more water. These water drops then crash into each other and become bigger drops of water. Then, at some point, they will end up falling to the ground in the form of rain or even snow. This stage of the water cycle is called precipitation. The water which falls to the ground, which precipitates in the form of either rain or snow, may land in rivers or even on the ground to then seep through to subterranean currents of water. All this water must continue its long journey, covering vast amount of distances until it finally reaches the sea. When it arrives at the big blue sea, it will once again begin the process: evaporation, condensation, precipitation. That is why it's called the water cycle, because it forms a never-ending circle. Isn't the water just so incredible? Imagine how much fun it would be to be a drop of water. You could fly up, then travel around the world before you fall down and do it all over again. Well, that's it for now. Until the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.